Hello everyone, I am Debanjana. I am a researcher and a PhD graduate from the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Mumbai. Welcome to my channel, and in the current series we will go in depth into academic writing and publishing. Today we will discuss the different types of academic literature, how we can effectively choose a journal to submit our papers, and the different segments of a research article. For those of you in the audience who are wondering when you should start writing your manuscript, Professor George Whitesides answers this beautifully in his interview with the American Chemical Society.
The major issue is to consider that writing is a part of the research process. There's a notion that one does research by carrying out a research project, putting together a pile of data, and then mining it at the end for writing. But for us, writing the paper is an integral part of the research process, so it provides a method of organizing your thinking about what data you need to collect, and putting it in a coherent form. So my advice is start as soon as possible and regard it as part of the research, not a separate activity.
With that, what are the different types of academic literature which are published? There can be original research articles which offer a detailed report of techniques and methods used to conduct original research and their results. These type of articles undergo peer review process before publication and are considered primary literature. They typically include full sections, including the introductions, abstract, methods, results, and discussions. They are suitable for publishing full reports of data from research. Then, there are the communications or letters which communicate brief reports of data from original research. They stimulate further research in the field and are useful for time-sensitive results. Communications are concise and often have strict word limits. Review articles provide a comprehensive summary of research on a specific topic written by experts in the field. They comprise findings from multiple original research articles to give an overview of the current state of knowledge. Review articles analyze existing literature, identify gaps, and offer perspectives, and are thus often widely read and highly cited. There are viewpoints and perspectives which offer insights on a particular field of study, often discussing trends, challenges, and future directions. There are news and views, which are short articles which describe a particular article or new paper which has come up with interesting results. There are methodology papers or methods articles that introduce new experimental methods, tests, or procedures which may represent advancements over existing techniques. Case studies report specific instances of interesting phenomena and are used to make other researchers aware of new or emerging pathologies. There are also editor's notes or editorials written by editors of journals. These editorials describe the current issue of the journal that the editor is writing about. What are the factors that you should consider when submitting your manuscript? You should consider the scope and relevance. That is, your research should align with the journal's subject focus. Read the journal's aims and scope section to understand the subject focus of the journal. The previous video on journal aims and scopes are provided in the description box and on the top of your screen. You can assess relevance by browsing recent articles published in the journal and evaluate their quality and relevance to your particular field. Consider whether your work fits within the context of the other papers. The next thing you should consider is the audience and impact. You would want to have the best audience for one particular piece of research work. You can consider the literature references that you have put in your manuscript, and these would be the preferred journals in which you would send your manuscript. List a couple of journals and rank them by their impact factor. A higher impact factor suggests greater visibility and influence for the journal. You should consider open access options because there might be publication fees after acceptance of the manuscript if you are publishing in an open access journal. Also, open access journals are freely accessible, potentially increasing the visibility of your work. You have to consider the quality and reputation of the journal in which you are submitting. Assess the credentials of the journal and its publisher, and choose established publishers with a good reputation. Additionally, be wary of predatory journals. There are also some important points to remember when you submit a manuscript. The first is that you should submit only to one journal and you should not have multiple submissions to different journals. Additionally, you should not pay to publish during the initial submission process. We will go into details with this, talking about predatory journals in a later video. We come to the last part, which is the segments of a research article, which contain the title page, which is the first page of the paper containing the title, the author names and affiliations, and it may also include the date of submission and the date of acceptance. Then comes the abstract, which is a concise summary of the paper, which is usually between 100 to 250 words, that includes the research question, methods, key findings and implications. Then there is the introduction of the paper, which provides the background information on the research problem, outlines the research questions and objectives, and explains the significance of the research. The introduction ends with a clear statement of the research hypothesis or question. There is the materials and methods of the paper, which describes the research design, the sample selection, data collection, and analysis procedures. It also describes the statistical methods used and should be detailed enough to allow replication of the data. There is the results section, which presents the findings of the research, often using tables, graphs, and figures to illustrate the data. The results should be clear and concise, directly relating to the research questions and hypothesis. The discussions interprets the findings, discussing their implications for the research question, the literature review, and the field of study. It may also suggest areas for future research. The conclusions conclude the findings of the paper. The references are a list of all the sources cited in the paper, formatted according to the specific citation style of the journal. There is the supporting information, which supports the paper's content. This is kept as a separate document because it is too detailed for the main text, such as the raw data or detailed calculations from the paper. The figures and their legends are essentially the data which are obtained from experiments or simulations. There may be exceptional tables in the paper which help to organize the data. And there is the graphical abstract or the table of contents graphic, which is basically a summary of the paper, and it appears as an image with the abstract. There is the declaration of competing interests and acknowledgements and funding declarations. So there also may be predefined templates that the journal requires the authors to submit in, and all this information, what the journal requires the authors to submit, will be present as tips for authors or author guidelines present on the website of the journal. So if you have any questions till now, you can write them in the comments section below. The questions for today's mini quiz are: which of the following sections of an article may be completely moved into the supporting information document? Is it A, the graphical abstract, B, the references, C, materials and methods, D, introduction? The second question is, you want to write a research article that aims to collect, critically assess, and synthesize all relevant studies on a particular topic. What kind of an article would this be? Would it be news and views? B, perspectives? C, a systematic review? And D, editorial note? Thank you for watching.